Hello everybody, and welcome to another installment of Produce Your Freedom. As you can see, I'm in the car today on my way to work. It's pretty white behind me, and you can hear some plows grinding next to me, even though it's March 20th up here in New England. Just happens sometimes. We got hit with a little bit of a storm, but no big deal. Keep on trucking up here usually. Plenty of plows out on the roads, plenty of people have them, plenty of salt, so it's just going to be a little slow going. We're going to take our time here. Anyways, today we're going to talk about a little bit of freedom philosophy. Sorry, I'm hitting the rumble strip. This guy with the plow won't back off a little bit to let me in here. Alright, you can try and get out from between these guys. My apologies. I'm talking a little bit about philosophy and what types of things we can produce that actually result in our freedom, and what types of things don't. So I'm going to start with how we get freedom, and that's pretty simple. If we cover one of our basic human needs, we have helped to produce our freedom. In theory, if we covered 100% of them ourselves, we would be 100% free, right? If we could produce all of our own needs, we could do whatever we wanted with ourselves after that point. It's a little unrealistic, but it's a base point. So in a lot of maybe some wilderness survival courses or things like that, a lot of them will list something like 5 basic needs. I'm going to do kind of a 6 with a bonus 7th. And the 5 usually are something like food, water, shelter. A lot of them will say some sort of fire. But we're going to substitute something for that. We'll get to that in a minute. And then the last one's going to be safety/security in most of them. Some of them will use medicine instead, or first aid, which also makes sense. I'm going to make sure I include all of those. So we're going to say they're food, water. That's 2. Food, water. 3rd one, shelter. 4th one, I'm going to substitute energy for fire, because it's really what fire is in that regard. We use fire for light and to keep warm and all that in that sense, and to do things, to boil water and things like that. We use energy of all forms for the same purposes really here in modern society. So we've got food, water, shelter, energy. I'm going to include safety/security still. And then 6th would be medicine/health and sanitation, medical needs/health and sanitation. That's basically it. Everything we do in life in terms of what we actually need is one of those 6 things. The bonus one I'm going to add in here is a 7th for not a survival need, not a human need, but for our purposes of things we can produce that will enhance our freedom is money. Because of course in today's day and age we use money to get all of those other things. Makes sense that we could be 100% self-sufficient if we could produce all of those first 6 things for ourselves 100% of the time, but it's not very efficient. Some people do other things better than others, right? Growing fields and fields of vegetables and food and cattle, livestock, all that might be what some people want to do. It's actually not what I want to do. So if I want to produce 100% of my own food, that's probably unrealistic, but I can produce some of my own food to enhance my freedom, and then for the remainder I can sorry, coming up on an issue here. Alright, passing that. I can produce some of my food, and then I can pay for the rest. So if I can produce enough money in today's society, I can pretty much guarantee my freedom in these other areas, either by having just a big bank account that I can buy these things with later, or by using money to stock up on these things and to enhance my abilities to provide these things for myself now, which is the second one, is what I would prefer and what I'm trying to work towards. So if we produce anything for ourselves within those several categories, we really are producing our freedom, with one caveat, and that's if it's taking away from another area. In other words, I could say, well, if I obtained food at Chili's, let's say, or not to bash their brand, but any really, eating out grill type place like that, well, I've by getting that food in my system, I've increased my freedom. Well, probably not. You've deprived yourself of money, first of all, and probably of health to some extent as well. A lot of that stuff is fried and not very good for you. So it's always a counterbalance between all these things. But if we produce one of those things without really taking away too much of any other, then we've taken a step forward, right? Because now we have, let's say a vast amount more freedom in this one area, and or even a small amount more freedom in this one area, but a lesser decrease in freedom in another area, then that's a net gain, right? Not exactly 100% easily quantifiable all the time, but something we can kind of rationalize and think through without too many difficulties. So for example, today, one of my projects when I get home from work is I'm going to make up a bunch of pasta sauce. It doesn't sound that exciting, but I'm going to make a ton of it and freeze up a bunch and put a bunch away, and then we'll have some good sauce. So it's kind of reducing a couple of things. It's increasing, my freedom through producing food. I'm going to have an extra stock of that, which really is an economic step as well. It's money put away now that I don't have to spend later, that if something bad happened, if I did lose a job, if I did have a huge unexpected expense, well, we don't have the food, but we can divert some money that would have gone to the food bill just by using what we have stocked up a little bit, and then not have to, and then that would give us the freedom to remain debt-free and to pay for whatever that expense was, or to just ride out that lean time. It's also going to save me money long term, and that's the biggest one. I do use sauce, but right now I use jarred sauce, which it's okay. I mean, it's convenient, it's easy. You pop it open, you heat it up, and you toss your pasta in or whatever, and it works. However, it's not what I would prefer to be doing. I can produce more happiness for myself by having a better quality product, and I can also pretty easily save a bunch of money. Those big jars of canned tomatoes and stuff, and tomato paste at the grocery store are much cheaper per unit than sauce, and it's not going to cost me much time to do it. A lot of people will talk about, well, your time is better spent doing X, or what's the value of your time? Yes, but what's the value of your time? I think a lot of times that's kind of an excuse for people who don't want to take a step and have a decent paying job. The value of your time is whatever your hourly wage is, only if you are actually going to use that time to work or produce more income by doing some continuing education or something to improve your job, or by going out and trying to market yourself a little bit or your business a little bit. If you're not doing something actively towards your job, what your time is worth is almost nothing. And that's pretty simple to get, I hope. Pretty straightforward for most people to grasp, right? My time spent sitting on the couch eating Cheetos is not worth anything other than my enjoyment, which, in that case, the enjoyment I get from sitting on the couch eating Cheetos, for me, anyways, is pretty low. It's not worth anything I'd rather be doing. I will have more fun making pasta sauce, but that's just me. So that's kind of a little bit of a philosophy primer on what types of things I think do produce freedom and what types of things don't, frankly. And hopefully you've enjoyed it. I have a blog as well. That's produceyourfreedom.wordpress.com. Feel free to like and comment below as well. And I look forward to your comments, and I will check in on you again soon. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the episode.